Hey everyone, welcome to this demonstration of Alter Aeon. Now, I was going to do this a long time ago. I got sidetracked, I got tired of the game, and so I didn't do it. I had someone ask me a couple days ago to put together a demo, and I thought I could do a brief one. What this is an online game known as a MUD, which MUD stands for Multi-User Dungeon. Basically, if you know what interactive fiction is, think of a MUD like an online IF game. So it primarily it prints text and you type text, and usually you can play them with multiple people. In the case of Alter, you can create groups of players to explore. You can chat and different things like that. So basically, this is, I guess you'd call it kind of like an RPG type of game. You're basically playing a character in this massive world. You have a bunch of different classes that you can choose to play as. So you could be a cleric, a mage, a thief, things like that. There are quests you can complete and monsters that you can kill. You can do some crafting and things like that, but primarily the game is concerned with killing monsters and completing quests. And I'm going to say this right now. I don't play this game. I found it in 2012, and I liked playing it for quite a while. The problem I have with it is after about level 29 or so, once you get to the mainland, I think the game becomes very unbalanced, and it doesn't really lend itself too well to playing it as an individual. I find that you have to group with players to actually progress, and if you don't, you just get massacred by things. So definitely at higher levels, it tends to lean towards heavy group play. But I'm going to try to demo this. Now, as I said, this game is online based, so you have to have a connection to the internet to play. The connection doesn't necessarily have to be fast, but it does have to be stable. Because if you're disconnected, you can't play because the game is played on another computer. It's just passing the information back and forth to your computer. And the program that I will be playing this with is a special program. Well, it's not a special program. It's a MUD client called Mush Client that has been configured to lend itself to be much easier to use by blind players. So there's a whole bunch of things that it does, including customizing the way that the game outputs. It adds a bunch of hotkeys. Obviously, it will speak using your screen reader, so you can use it with all the major ones, JAWS, NVDA. And I think the most important thing, it comes with a collection of sound effects and music. So, being that this game is text-based, you can play MUDs and you can play this game without sounds. The problem is, I find, because you're playing this in real time, you might miss some things. So if you just have a speech engine jabbering away at you, going blah, 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 well, you might find out that by the time it tells you that your player has died, it's too late. So I find the sounds are absolutely essential to proper gameplay. You can play this on other platforms like Mac OS using Telnet, but again, in that particular case, you would be working exclusively with text. But yeah, so I generally tend to find the best experience is playing it, of course, on Microsoft Windows. So that's quite a lot of babbling from me. Let's go ahead and get into this. Now, the way I think I'm going to show this, I will divide this into two parts. The first part will concentrate on the client itself and how to use it to a basic level, as well as I'll be taking you through the introductory portion of getting started with your player. And then in part 2, I think I will demonstrate a couple of the quests and how you do them, just to give you an idea of the things to expect as you play. But just keep in mind that this is not a complete overview. This is not a complete demonstration. I think to do that would require insane amounts of time, because this game is massive, especially once you get to the mainland, which is absolutely massive. I don't even know how many areas there are, but it's probably over 100. So just keep that in mind. So I'm going to run the client now. This is called MushZ, and of course I will be putting links to both the site to get MushZ as well as the main Alter Aeon site itself. And when you download this, you can choose between two versions. There is the complete one, which has music, and the light version, which does not. I'm going to keep the music off because I don't know if it's copyrighted, and I don't want to take that risk on YouTube. So basically, you have to download it, you have to install it, and then you can run it. It creates an icon on your desktop.
Folder view list, Audacity.
And let me make sure that I'm recording here. I should be. Let's see here.
Status line recording.
All right, so let's go ahead and launch MushZ.
Folder view list.
So I'm going to hit R.
RS Games Client. Remote Incident Manager. Run MushZ.
And I'll hit Enter.
Miss Client Alter Aeon. Edit multi-line blank. Welcome to Alter Aeon, a fantasy adventure game set in a world of swords and sorcery, magic and dragons. If you already have a character, enter the name now. If you are new, you must create and name a new character. Would you like to create a new character?
So by this point, you are connected, and you get that prompt when you connect. Now, if you don't have a character, you can type the player name you want. It will guide you through the process of creating your character. You will have to link an email address at some point to your player, which basically makes an account. Otherwise, your character will be purged if you don't do this. But I'm not going to go through the process of creating a character because it's pretty easy. Basically, you type the player name, hit enter, and it asks you a bunch of questions. So I'm going to log in as my character, and of course, those of you that have been around may know that I prefer using my nicknames. We'll do SLANNON, and I'll hit enter.
Password.
And it asks me for the password, and I think I know my password. Let's type that in. Give me just a second.
Welcome to Alter Aeon. 1. Enter Alter Aeon. 2. See where you will log in. 7. Change password. 8. Reset and restart this character. 0. Leave Alter Aeon. Enter selection greater.
So you have to type the number that corresponds to what you want. Now, while I'm on the topic of that, let's talk about a few things that you can do in MushZ to help you read information. If you hold down Control and hit 1 to 0, that will read the last 10 messages that you received. So I'm going to hold down the Control key and hit 1.
Enter selection greater.
I'll hit 2.
0. Leave Alter Aeon. 8. Reset and restart this character.
And 3. And number 4.
7. Change password.
And number 5.
2. See where you will log in.
Things like that. If you want to read the output like a standard document, you can hit Control-Tab.
Edit multi-line blank.
And that will take you to the output window. Now if I hit Control-Home
Blank.
and down arrow.
Welcome to Miss Client version 5.0. Written by Nick blank. Compiled. Using blank. For information. Can you channel history timestamps. Plugin. Mush blank. Welcome to Alter Aeon, a fantasy adventure game set in a world
And here's the text of the game itself.
of swords and sorcery.
And of course, you can do things like read by word. So I'm going to hold down Control and go to the right. So Control and the right arrow key.
Swords and sorcery, magic and dragons.
Or you can read by character.
AGONS. Dragons.
And if you want to highlight text, you can do that like this.
Dragons. Selected.
And I can copy it to the clipboard and do things like that. Also, if you hit Control and the numbers twice, that will copy the information to the clipboard. If you hit it 3 times quickly, that will paste the information into the output or into the current place where you are. Just as some helpful hints there. Now I'm going to hit Control-Tab, which will take me back to the input window where you type in commands.
Edit multi-line blank. Enter selection greater.
Now, I'm connected right now. I want to reset my character, so I'm going to hit number 8.
This will reset your character's stats and levels, including practices. You will keep your equipment, gold, credits, and any purchased strings, but everything else will be reset. If you are sure you want to do this, type yes. If you don't want to restart, just press return.
And I'll type yes, Y-E-S. And actually, this was the reason that got me to turn off the screen reader's ability to speak character by character, because I found the more I played this game, the more annoying it was to hear the characters I was typing. So that's why I turned off character reading. But that's another thing entirely. Alright, so I'm going to hit enter.
What general type of character would you like to play? Warrior soldiers with many melee fighting techniques, mage spellcasters with mastery over destructive elemental magic, druid users of runes with control over nature and weather, necromancer masters of undead, blood and demons, thief rogues adept with poisons, tinkering and shadow magic, cleric healers that fight using the powers of the gods. None cancel character reset/restart. If you pick a valid class, your character will immediately restart on the island of Slow near the encampment. Once you restart your character, you cannot undo it or go back. To cancel, type none or cancel now. Please enter the class of character you wish to play.
Yep, so you can play as a cleric, mage, thief, warrior, druid, or necromancer. Each class has its own play style and things like that. And it is possible to get levels in all classes. You will be able to do that at some point. Which is kind of cool. So it's possible to build a character that has multiple abilities and things like that. The problem, as I said, is at higher levels, I really do believe it becomes more of a chore, because the experience level just gets exponentially higher, and I don't find after a while it's entertaining anymore. It's just annoying. Because, like, say you need, I don't know, let's just say you need 20 million experience to gain a level, which is not out of the realm of possibility. What happens down the road is, once you start to need a crazy amount of experience, the game will split your levels into micro levels. So, like, say, in the case of 20 million, it would split it into 2 10 million chunks. And so you would have to gain that in 2 different times, right? Or you would have to use 10 million, get 10 million more, and then level again. On top of that, when your character dies, you lose up to 10 million experience, which is really annoying. So, like I said, I find this game is pretty good at, I'd say, from level 1 to about 29, or 30. After that, it just becomes a chore. But that's just me. Now, in this case, I'm going to go with cleric. So I will type in cleric, C-L-E-R-I-C. And I can read that.
Cleric.
And I'll hit enter.
Cleric class selected. Guided by intuition and steeped in ritual, you seek to exercise the will of the gods as a cleric. You can heal injuries with a soothe wounds spell, turning your healing powers inside out. You can inflict wounds on your foes. You can also call down the wrath of the gods as a curse to afflict your enemies, making them more vulnerable to attacks. One fateful day, you pray to the gods to transport you to the slow Badlands Chapel. Instead of a brightly lit hall, you find yourself in a dark place, smelling of burnt flesh. Groping about in the darkness, you find a lamp. There are dark stains on the floor. You hear shuffling footsteps from the south. Someone, or something, in the chapel is coming closer. Press return to continue.
And I will hit enter to continue.
The Badlands Chapel waypoint. This tall chamber has stone walls that merge into a dome overhead. Normally, there are crystal lamps hanging from chains to provide light, but they appear to have been pulled down. There is debris scattered across the floor, and the faint smell of roasted meat hangs in the air. There is a doorway to the south. To walk through the doorway, you need to go south. Type S, short for south, to walk south through the doorway. 0. A crystal lamp rests in the debris. You should get it so you have some light. South. Tip. The Badlands Chapel. Use SK to sort and display your skills by their knowledge level. This will also count the number of skills in each knowledge level. Type config show tips to disable these tips. You are using the latest version of MushZ. Your strength is now 12. Your spell save is now 0%. Your intelligence is now 13. Your fire save is now 0%. Your wisdom is now 17. Your cold save is now 0%. Your dex is now 12. Your zap save is now 0%. Your con is now 12. Your breath save is now 0%. Your CHR is now 14. Your poison save is now 0%. Your physical save is now 0%.
12 p.m.
0. You need to find something to wear. You are naked. Your header is now 0. Your damage is now 5. Your next cheapest level is cleric for 3,300. 12 p.m.
Alright, so you heard quite a lot there. There was some introductory text, and then you are put into the game. This is the starting area for clerics. There is a starting area tailored for each class, which is kind of cool. Now I am actually inside the game, and at this point, there's not much happening. Mush client, or in this case, MushZ, will periodically give you tips that can help you if you're new, and you might want to leave those on while you learn. So at this point, I'm going to try to talk about some basics here. Most of what you'll be doing, like I said, is typing in commands. And the first thing that you might want to know is how to get help. So if you just type in help...
Tip. Use the equalist command to help you efficiently manage different equipment sets. The commands are simple to learn and use.
And that's a tip. I'll just ignore that.
H.
So I'm going to type in help, H-E-L-P, and hit enter.
Keywords are Help Section Index 0, General Help, by Section, Section 1 Basic Commands, Section 2 Movement and Walking Around, Section 3 Equipment and Items, Section 4 Training and Learning New Spells or Skills, Section 5 Information about your character, Section 6 Looking at Things, Section 7 Fighting, Section 8 Talking to other players, Section 9 Miscellaneous Commands that might be of use. Which help section do you want to see commands for? For example, try Help 2 for help on equipment or Help 3 for help on learning spells. For information on a specific command, try Help less command name greater, for example, Help stats or Help attack.
Yeah, so the cool thing I will say, this game has a very comprehensive help system. Basically, if there's something that you need help on...
It's 6 o'clock a.m.
Yes, sorry, that is not the game, that is a clock program. Let me actually close that. Okay, there we go. That won't bother us anymore. As I said, though, the help in this game is excellent. So, like, just to give you an idea, I'm going to read through help section 1. So I'll type in help, a space, and number 1 on the top row of numbers, and then hit enter.
Keywords are Help Section 1. Note, most commands and names may be abbreviated. Use the look command to see where you are. You can also look at items, monsters, and other players. Use the INV, inventory, command to see your items. Use the EQ, equipment, command to see what you're wearing. Use the remove command to take off worn equipment. To walk, just type the direction. For example, N for north, W for west. Use the get command to pick up new items or get items from a bag. Use the drop command to drop items carried in your inventory. Use the wear command to wear items carried in your inventory. Use the put command to put items into a bag or other container. Use the consider command before attacking to see if you can win. Use the kill or attack commands to start a fight. Use the flee command to run away from a fight. 1 p.m.
And the ticks you're hearing are time passing. Basically, the client can indicate to you the time of day. Time in this game moves much quicker, so I think a day in this game takes about an hour of actual time. So just keep that in mind. The time of day in this game really doesn't matter in most cases. The exception, to my knowledge, is if you're a druid, there are some spells and abilities that require direct access to the sun. And obviously, if it's nighttime outside, you won't be able to do anything. So that's how the help works. Now, let me show you how much Z works. Just a bit more. If I type config, so CONFIG, and hit enter.
Options dialog to change an option. Navigate to it in the list, then press enter, or click OK. To quickly change an option without using the configuration list, type config option name in the world window. Press escape, or click cancel. When done, to save your settings. Combo box collapsed.
Now, this is a very long list of things that you can customize. I'm not going to explain them all because, quite frankly, I don't know what they all do, and explaining them all in great detail would take a very long time. But if I down arrow...
Ambience, area-specific ambience sounds, enabled.
So if you don't want to hear the ambience noises, you can turn that off. So right now, you can hear a humming kind of noise in the background. That's a generic sound for when you're inside of a building. If I go down...
Anti-ground string spam. Condense many items with the same ground string into one line. Disabled.
This lets you condense things. Ground strings are basically the information that's printed when you see things on the floor.
Anti-sound clover. Prevent same sound playing twice in a row. Disabled.
Anti-sound clobber? Let me read this with object navigation here.
ANTISOUNDCLOBBER.
Yeah, okay.
Area music. Play area-specific background music. Disabled. 2 p.m.
And there's the time announcement. I am actually going to turn that off because that does get quite annoying.
Auto mark. Automatically start marking when I join a group. Auto move. Obey leaders climb and look commands. Enabled. Auto open. Automatically open doors after unlocking or picking. Disabled.
Right. Actually, I think I will turn that on.
Change option dialog. Auto open. Automatically open doors after unlocking or picking.
And I'll move up arrow to yes.
Yes button Alt plus Y.
And hit enter.
Options dialog. Auto open. Auto pick. Retry lock picking when it fails. Enabled.
You probably want this on.
Autrogen. Obey leaders regen and sleep commands. Disabled.
And I'll turn this on too.
Change yes button. Options.
A few of these work in groups. So basically, the way groups work, and I don't think I'll be able to show you this unless I add more parts to this, which is very possible, but I'd have to get some people on here, like possibly Bryant. But the way groups work is you join a group, or you make a group. The people that want to join your group, or that you join, basically they have to follow the group leader, and then the group leader can type in group add and the player name. If players aren't in the same location, you can type group join and then the player name. And if that person wants to create a group with you or add you to that group, the person can type group summon and then your player name, and that will transport your player to the location where the group is. Basically, groups can chat. There's a special channel called group chat where you can talk to all members of the group. Groups will share experience from kills, Typically, if the owner of the group walks around, the members will automatically go with that person, and it's basically designed to keep a group of people together to do things like explore or kill particularly hard monsters.
Auto size. Set auto size on start tab to preferred setting. Auto sleep. Auto stat. Auto time. Auto victory. Auto time. Automatically announce game time every hour with text and a small sound, as well as every 6 hours with an audio announcement.
Okay, I'm going to turn this off.
Change up disabled. Every hour with text and a small sound. Every hour with text and a small sound, as well as every 6 hours with an audio announcement.
So you have a few choices in here. I'm going to turn this off though.
Disabled.
So I'm going to hit home and hit enter.
Repeat. Options dialog. Auto victory. Automatically perform cry of victory. NVDA add-on updates. NVDA community add-ons website. Dialog.
And there's some NVDA add-on updates, which I'm not going to worry about right now. I'm just going to hit escape.
Options dialog.
And
Bars. Represent the prompt using sounds that change pitch.
so this is the other cool thing. This game can convey different things to you in different ways. For example, your health or your mana or your movement can be represented by pitch. Basically, the higher the pitch, the higher the stat is, and conversely, it goes the other way too.
Battle and music. Play condition-specific music when fighting. Enabled.
There is battle music that I recommend that you keep on because that will help you to determine how healthy you are and things like that.
Battle type. The severity of battle music is based on your health.
Here you can change what the battle music controls, so it either can be based on your particular health or the health of your foes. I'm going to hit escape because, like I said, I could go on like this forever.
List client Aeon. Edit multi-line blank. Use this map command to map directions. Walk to an area.
And it's giving me some more tips. I'm going to actually turn those off, so let's type in config SHOWTIPS.
Show tips disabled.
And there, now that's off. So yeah, that's the configuration options. You can change a whole bunch of things in there. I might demo some more stuff as we play, but this particular part is just to give you an idea of how the client works. So at this point, let's talk about actually playing. So if I type L, that will print a description of the room I'm in, which you already heard, but let's just do it again.
The Badlands Chapel Waypoint. This tall chamber has stone walls that merge into a dome overhead. Normally, there are crystal lamps hanging from chains to provide light, but they appear to have been pulled down. There is debris scattered across the floor, and the faint smell of roasted meat hangs in the air. There is a doorway to the south. To walk through the doorway, you need to go south. Type S, short for south, to walk south through the doorway. 0 a crystal lamp rests in the debris. You should get it so you have some light, south.
So I'm going to type get lamp.
You get an amber crystal lamp.
And the other thing I'll do here is type in brief.
Brief mode on.
Which basically means that when you walk around now, you won't hear the room descriptions. This is a personal preference, but for the sake of demo, I don't want it to jabber on and on and on and on about rooms and things like that. But basically, as you walk around, every room has some text in it that will tell you about it, just like it does in an IF game. So, you can type I to check what you're holding.
You are carrying an amber crystal lamp, light.
And that's my lamp, which is providing light because, yes, your character has to have light to see. If you type look, lamp.
Item is in your inventory. This lamp is made from a large citrine-colored crystal. Light that flickers, like a candle wells up from within the crystal. A brass chain is run through a loop that has been attached to the point of the crystal. It will serve as a light source in dark places.
And alright, so let's go south. Now, you can either type in the commands, so NSEWNENWSESW for the 8 cardinal directions, or with mush Z, you can use the numeric keypad, which is kind of cool. So to use that, you have to turn off numlock.
Numlock on.
Or,
Numlock off.
yeah, I think it has to be off. Number 2 is south. Number 8 is north. Number 4 is west. Number 6 is east. Number 1 is northwest. Number 3 is northeast. Number 7 is... No, wait a minute. I'm sorry. I am giving you wrong information. Number 1 is southwest. Number 3 is southeast. Number 7 is northwest. And number 9 is northeast. So if you think about how the numpad is positioned, you should be able to intuitively understand how this works. I think there's also commands for up and down. I'm not sure what those are. I think those are numpad enter for down and numpad plus for up, but don't quote me on that. So like if I hit numpad 2...
Blank.
Oh, wait a minute.
Numlock on.
Okay. Actually, yeah, so we need numlock on. So if I hit 2 now on my numeric keypad...
A hall of worship. 5. A heavy robe rests on the floor in a pool of blood, waiting for you to get it. 1. A pair of bloody stockings have been flung across the room. You should get them. 1. A pair of bloody sandals rests on the ground, ready for you to get them. North-south.
So here's some stuff that I can pick up. This is gear. This is equipment that you will need to help you play. I'm just going to type get all.
Type where heavy to start using vestments of the martyred priest. Type where pair to start using gaiters of the martyred priest. Type where sandals to start using sandals of the martyred priest. You get 3 items: vestments of the martyred priest, gaiters of the martyred priest, sandals of the martyred priest.
And of course you can examine them. So if I look vest,
Item is in your inventory. These humble gray linen robes are heavily stained with blood. They once belonged to the priest of the Badlands Chapel, and he was killed wearing them. He must have been dutifully defending the shrine when he was killed, because they radiate the power of his faith.
Now, typically all items will have stats, and you can identify them. The quick way to do it is just to type ID and then the name of the item, but at some point you'll have to learn the identify spell, which will let you identify things that you may not be able to identify otherwise. But excuse me. I just want to explain how this works. So if I type in ID vest and hit enter.
Vestments of the martyred priest. Level 1. Comp. Fabric. Weight. 4 cleric. AC. 3. On body. Mana regen by 1.0. Mana by 5. Move by 5. Hit points by 5. CHR by 1. This item is bound to you. You are carrying vestments of the martyred priest. Type where heavy to start using vestments of the martyred priest.
So you heard quite a bit of things there. Basically, there are different stats, and items can boost different stats. So in this case, let's just read here. I'll start with control number 5.
Because they radiate the power. Them belong to the vestments of the martyred by 1.0. Mana by 5. You are carrying vestments. Actually,
this is a good time to explain some more keyboard commands. Alt 1 through 0 will show you the last 10, I guess you could call it special messages. So if I hold down Alt and hit number 1.
Switching to shorted. Use Alt left and right arrows to change. Vestments of the martyred priest. Level 1. Comp. Fabric. Weight. 4 cleric. AC. 3. On body. Mana regen by 1.0. Mana by 5. Move by 5. Hit points by 5. CHR by 1. This item is bound to you.
So basically that's giving you a bunch of information. It tells you the size, what it's composed of, the fact that it is made for a cleric, so you have to have you have to have cleric levels to use it, and then it gives you the stats. So in this case, it boosts mana, movement, and HP by 5, increases the charisma stat by 1, and improves mana regeneration, which is helpful both when you're in combat and outside of combat because your mana is used to cast spells. So I'm going to wear this. I'll just type wear vest.
A few scratches.
And it tells me that...
Your CHR is now 15. Armor, 9. You are only wearing one of 15 pieces of armor.
So it told me I was hurt and now I'm healed again because as you stand around doing nothing, your character will automatically heal and things like that. Let's do the same thing with the sandals now. So I'll type in ID SAND.
Sandals of the Martyred Priest. Level 1. Comp. Skin. Weight. 2 cleric. AC. 1 feet. Mana regen by 1.0. Mana by 5. Move by 5. Hit points by 5. This item is bound to you.
So the same type of information, except it's used on my feet. And let's see, let me read that again.
Sandals of the Martyred Priest. Level 1. Comp. Skin. Weight. 2 cleric. AC. 1 feet.
Yeah, so AC is armor class. Basically, the higher your armor class is, the more protected you are. So just keep that in mind. So I'll just type wear SAND.
A few scratches.
And then, what was the last thing I had here?
You are carrying Gators of the Martyred Priest, an amber crystal lamp.
Full.
IDGAT.
You don't seem to be carrying anything named GAT.
Wait, how do you spell that? Let's read the output window here.
Blank. You don't enam Gators of the Gators AGAITER.
Oh.
Editor.
So I should be able to just type in GAI. So in most cases, you can abbreviate commands to a few letters, and the game will typically know what item or command you're trying to do. So let's type IDGAI.
Gators of the Martyred Priest. Level 1. Comp. Fabric. Weight. 1 cleric. AC. 3. Legs. Mana regen by 1.0. Mana by 5. Move by 5. Hit points by 5. CHR by 1. This item is bound to you.
And let's just wear that.
You do not seem to be carrying.
Wear GAI.
A few scratches.
There we go. So now I have some
CHR
gear. It's not very good gear, but it will get us started for now. Now, I was going to tell you about Alt 1 through 0. So that will give you the last 10 special messages. So if I hit Alt 1.
Gators of the Martyred Priest. Level
Alt
1.
2.
Sandals of the Martyred
Alt 3.
Priest. Vestments of the Martyred
Alt
Priest.
4.
No message. No message.
And I don't have any messages there. If you hit Alt left and right arrows, that will cycle through different categories. So right now, if I go Alt left.
Shorted. 1 of 3.
This is the ID for short IDs. So if you ID things, that information will be here. I'll keep hitting Alt left arrow.
Shorted. 1 of 3. Shorted. Shorted.
Which actually, that's the only thing I have right now. But basically, this menu could expand to include all kinds of things. If you receive private messages, you could change it to tells, and Alt 1 through 0 would read the last 10 chat messages that you got. Or maybe you are talking on a public channel, you could move to that, and that would give you information on that channel. So it's very context aware, so just keep that in mind. Well, alright, so now that I've spent quite a lot of time trying to explain how this works, let's play the game just a little bit. So I'm going to type S.
A vestibule. 6. An extremely pale man stumbles around, eyes staring vacantly, north-south.
And if I try to go south again...
A pallid zombie stands in the mouth of vestibule. You will have to kill it to pass. A pallid zombie is standing in the southern doorway of the vestibule, blocking the way. You will have to kill it in order to pass. You can use your Inflict Wounds spell to attack it. Type C Inflict Wounds zombie to cast the spell on it. The C is short for cast.
Right, so now we'll talk about combat. Depending on the monster will either wait for you to attack, which is not typical, or when you walk into a room, the monster will immediately begin attacking you, which is much more common and can be much more dangerous. Now, let's talk about casting. So this game has a few different...
Squiggles landed a heinous backstab on Thor for 3,200 damage. Free Kate.
Okay, that's a notify. Those are globally sent by the game and can include all kinds of things when players do all kinds of random things, so just ignore that as of right now. So, I'm a cleric right now. If I type spells...
You know the following spells. Cleric. Soothe wounds, very good 85%. Inflict wounds, very good 85%. Afflict, very good 85%.
Those are the spells I know. There's Inflict Wounds, which does damage. Obviously, if you heal, there's a healing spell in there, and then there's Affliction, which is a curse. Which, just to give you an idea, let's type in help affliction, so AFFLICTION.
Keywords are Cleric Curse Afflict Affliction, Spell, Afflict Mana, 4 Wis, 12 CHR, 11 Level 1 Clear, 28%, Important, can be group cast, Curse, can be cast on others, Usage, cast Afflict less target greater, the Afflict Curse causes disruptive energy to course up and down the body of the target. While it holds, they experience discomfort and unease that causes their movement and mana regeneration to be lowered. This is merely a side effect. The curse weakens the aura of the target, lowering their spell save and making them more vulnerable to magical attacks such as other curses. The most potent effect of the Afflict Curse is how it interacts with the Cleric inflict spells. When inflict wounds, chasten, inflict suffering, or harm is cast upon an afflicted enemy, the energy of the curse is discharged, ending its effects while increasing the damage of the triggering spell. You can create the spell afflict on the following consumables: potions, unguents.
And so there's the help information for that. And that's basically how good the help actually is. So if you don't know what something does, typically you can type help and the name and it will tell you. So now let's just let's attack this thing. So I'm going to type C, which is short for cast, a space, and then AFF, and that should be enough to cast afflict wounds, and it should target the, well, let me specify the zombie, so I'll just type in zombie.
A pallid zombie shudders as your curse takes hold. You dodge its attack.
And now I'm in combat.
Excellent.
And you can hear the sounds here. Let's cast my magic. So we'll type in CINFL.
A pallid zombie shudders as if in pain. Dance and scratches suddenly appear on a pallid zombie. A pallid zombie moans as it falls and drops a crusader's bronze flail next to it. A pallid zombie is dead. A crusader's bronze flail will make an excellent weapon for a cleric. Type get flail to pick it up and wield flail to use it as a weapon. You receive 450 experience.
And now that that's dead, I can look around.
A vestibule.
The squishing sound tells me that there is a corpse here. I can hit Control 1.
North-south.
That gives me the last message. I hit Control 2.
Blank.
That's blank. Number 3.
4 A bronze flail rests on the ground, waiting for someone to get it. The corpse of a pallid zombie.
And there's the corpse. So if I type get FLA.
Type wield crusaders to wield a crusader's bronze flail as a weapon. You get a crusader's bronze flail.
I'll type use FLA. And now I am using it.
Your wisdom is now 18. Your CHR is now 17. Armor, 16. You are only wearing 4 of 15 pieces of armor.
So
Your
that's a
health is
weapon.
Your damage is now 14.
Oh yeah, and that told me my damage increased. Also, we have this corpse here. You can examine them, or if you type search corpse.
You begin searching the corpse of a pallid zombie. On ground contains nothing.
There's nothing there because I've already grabbed the items off of it, but typically you will want to do this because most monsters will have things that they will drop when they die. You can sacrifice corpses by typing SAC and then corpse, or
blank.
You can hit F3, which is a keyboard command in this program, which will do both.
You have typed in FO3, but FO3 is not a valid command.
Wait.
You have typed in FO3.
Or I guess you can't do it. Let's just type in SAC corpse.
The Pantheon of Gods appreciates your sacrifice of the corpse of a pallid zombie.
Now, typically that just trashes it, basically makes it go away. Sometimes you'll get gold, at other times you will not. It just depends. Also, keep in mind that corpses by default will go away after a while unless you preserve them, but that's entirely different. So, let's continue here. I'm going to move south.
The multi-purpose hall, northeast-west.
So now we have some branching directions. Let's go east.
An instruction room. For there is a table in the corner of the room that you should look at, west.
So I'll type look table.
This table has a top made from the wood of a dwarf island oak. Sitting on top of it is a carved carnelian ring. You can take everything off of it by typing get all oak. You can take a specific item off of it by typing get less item keyword greater oak. You can use the identify command to see an item's stats.
Yep, which is what I talked about before. So I'll type get ring.
You don't see anything named in here.
Oh, get ring table.
Type for carved to start using a carved carnelian ring. You get a carved carnelian ring from an oak top table.
And I'll type in ID ring.
A carved carnelian ring. Level 1. Comp. Rock. Weight. 1 cleric. Fingers. Wisp by 1. Mana regen by 1.0. Hit points by 5. Mana by 5. Move by 8. This item is bound to you.
So it increases my wisdom, mana, regeneration, things like that. So I'll type wear ring.
A few scratches.
There we go.
Your
And
wisdom is now 19.
let's go ahead and
4.
identify the flail as well. So I'll type in IDFLA.
A Crusader's Bronze Flail. Level 1. Comp. Copper. Weight. 3 cleric. Damage. 1d23. Speed. Slow. Damage type. Magic Flail. 12 Willed Strength Bane versus Undead Creatures. Hit roll by 1. Dam roll by 5. Wisp by 1. CHR by 1. Mana by 9. You are wielding a Crusader's Bronze Flail.
So that increases some more of your stats. Hit roll and dam roll is used for attacking things with melee weapons, which doesn't really matter because this character I'm making is more of a caster. And of course, like I said, I can't explain everything, but there are lots of statistics that will boost your character and help. If you're familiar with Dungeons and Dragons, you'll understand how lots of these things work. So I'm going to go west twice.
The Multi-Purpose Hall. The Multi-Purpose Hall. East-West.
I'll go west again.
The Multi-Purpose Hall. 6 A blackened corpse stands in the hall, looking disoriented. East-South.
And if I try to go south...
A sunburnt vampire is standing in front of the southern doorway. You will need to kill it in order to pass.
Alright, let's do the same thing. So I'm going to do CAFFL vamp.
A sunburnt
A few
vampire
scratches.
shudders.
A few scratches.
A sunburnt vampire shudders as if in pain. Dents and scratches suddenly appear on a sunburnt vampire. A sunburnt vampire crumbles to the ground with a snarling hiss. A sunburnt vampire is dead. The way is clear for you to continue south. You receive 500 experience.
Now, the ding you heard, that tells you that you have capped. Now, capping is basically means that you get the maximum amount of experience that you can currently get. Your experience cap will increase the higher you go in terms of levels, but depending on the areas that you try to kill things in, you may or may not cap. But that's something for later. So, this thing's dead. I'm going to move south.
A short, straight hallway, northeast, southwest.
And now I have all kinds of choices here. Let's go east.
An office, 6 A cabinet stands against the southern wall. You should look at it, west.
Alright, let's look at this. Look, cab.
This oaken cabinet is about as tall as a large man. It has a pair of doors, attached to it by brass handles. It is closed. You can open it by typing open oak.
Alright, I'll type in open cab.
You open an oak cabinet. On ground contains a gray wool skull cap, a blue potion, a carved carnelian ring. To take items from an oak cap,
Take all cab.
type were great to start using a gray wool skull cap. Type were carved to start using a carved carnelian ring. You get 3 items.
So here's more gear. Wear carve.
A few scratches.
Wear cap.
Your
and-
wisdom is now 20.
I've got this potion here. I can
Full.
identify it. ID POT.
A blue potion, level 1, comp, liquid, potion, weight 1, spell level 1, restoration. You can drink potion to consume a blue potion. You are carrying a blue potion.
Now, restoration, I believe that restores your mana. Well, alright, so here's another helpful time when you may not know what something does, so let's use the help. So I'll type in help, restoration.
Keywords are spell brew only restoration. This type of brew is unusual in that instead of being a proper spell, the drinker simply drinks the mana associated with it. This brew is popular with mages to aid in quick mana recovery. It also restores a small amount of hit points and movement. You can create the spell restoration on the following consumables: potions.
Yes, and if you're a mage, you can make your own potions and things like that, which is quite nice.
A short, straight hall.
So let's go west.
A training room. 3 A grayscale imp is here, stacking up bodies. East.
Let's type look imp.
This diminutive humanoid is covered with grayscales
A
that
few
blend in the back,
scratches.
surrounding rock. It has large red eyes
Oh,
and stubby white
small
flanks on
wounds
its
and bruises.
forehead. It also has razor sharp claws on its
Alright, so let's just type in
pretty horrible.
INFL.
Wounds and scratches suddenly appear on a grayscale
few
imp.
scratches.
Your blood freezes as you hear a grayscale imp's death cry. A grayscale imp is dead. You receive 500 experience. On ground contains a slime-covered missive. Use the get all corpse or loot commands to claim any gold or items from the corpse.
Now, I'm just going to hit F3.
You have typed in F03, but F03...
No, that doesn't work, so we'll just type get all corpse.
You get a slime-covered missive from the corpse of a grayscale
And I'll
imp.
sacrifice it.
The Pantheon of God.
So I was looking at it and it attacked me. Now combat, like I said, combat is handled in real time, and the things you were hearing, the beeping told you that the health of the enemy was decreasing, and the music told you my condition. The music will change as your condition gets worse or better. Now, if you don't want that, you can customize that. I'll talk about that a bit more in part 2 when we get into actual combat way more in depth and things like that. So, let's see what this item is. So I'll type in look slime.
Item is in your inventory. This scrap of parchment paper is coated with greasy, translucent slime. Written upon it in large letters is a message. The master wishes to take the Badlands Chapel intact. The waypoint there will be an invaluable asset to our cause. As long as you remain in my master's service, his influence will allow you to openly walk on hallowed ground. Feed enough to preserve your strength, but leave the bodies unspoiled so Rabone God Carver can do his work. A hutch, servant of the master.
Alright, so there's some kind of note from a demon or something.
A short, straight hallway, northeast, southwest.
So let's go south.
A quiet study with an open window, north-south.
Go south.
You climb outside through the open window, a ledge overlooking a ravine, north down.
And as you can tell, now I'm outside. The ambience has changed. The step sounds have changed. And now I can go down. Now I think if I hit numpad enter, that will take me down.
Alas, you cannot go that way. Use the exits or look commands to see which
Let's
way
try
you can go.
numpad plus.
New player quest start. In a narrow ravine, 6 a wounded soldier lies on the ground here. Use the talk soldier command to talk to him. South, a wounded soldier weakly beckons you to approach.
Okay, so numpad plus will move your player down, or you can just type D. Numpad enter will move up, I think, unless it's numpad minus. I'm going to have to test that.
Alas, you cannot go that way. A wounded soldier blocks your path, preventing you from passing.
Yeah, okay, so numpad minus goes up, numpad plus goes down. Numpad enter, I think, is just enter, so pressing enter in mushz will execute the last command that you typed in, which is helpful particularly in combat or in situations when you want to do the same action over and over again and don't want to type it. So here's this person here. Let's type talk, S-O-L.
You try to talk to a wounded soldier. A wounded soldier says, a party of imps are preparing to ambush our camp through the ravine to the south. A wounded soldier coughs up some blood. A wounded soldier says, the main force could arrive at any time. You must get to the camp and warn them. A wounded soldier says, it may not look like it, but if you follow the ravine to the south, you'll reach the camp. A wounded soldier says, there's a waypoint there where you can pray and recall safely. A wounded soldier says, please hurry. Good luck. At the limits of his strength, the soldier drifts off into unconsciousness.
Yeah, so that is a sound effect that tells you that a character or a player is talking, and I'll get more into how talking works in a while. This is also where the Alt 1 through 0 command can be quite helpful. So like if I hit Alt right arrow.
Miscellaneous, 1 of 1. All, 1. Experience. Items, 1 of 2. Say, 1 of 5.
I can hit Alt 1.
A wounded soldier says, please hurry. A wounded soldier says, there's a waypoint there.
And Alt 2. On and on and on. So as you can tell, this program is it makes it very easy to read information, which is key, right? Because if you're blind, you need to have all the tools that you can possibly have to get all the information that you need. And because I've been doing more things, I have more things here. So if I hit Alt right,
shorted, 1 of miscellaneous, 1 of 1.
If I hit Alt 1,
notify, squiggles.
Alt right arrow.
All. 1 of 9.
That's all things. If I hit Alt right,
Experience. 1 of 3.
I hit Alt 1.
500 XP from a grayscale dump. 5 minutes 1 seconds ago.
Also, the cool thing is this will tell you how long ago things have happened. So if I hit Alt 3.
450 XP from a pallid zombie. 13 minutes 10 seconds ago.
Right, so things like that. Let's continue here. So I'm going to hit, I'm going to go south.
You work your way
few
through the
scratches.
following the ravine. One is small.
I'm being attacked, so I'll type in inflict.
Wounds and scratches suddenly appear on a grayscale dimp. Your blood freezes as you hear a grayscale dimp's death cry. You receive 248 XP or fight your way through. You've found imps. You've been given a quest. A grayscale dimp is dead. You've been given a quest. Use the quest's command to view the details.
So I'm reading this with control 1 to 0 because I missed it.
You've found imp scouts at the ambush point. Avoid them. Or fight your way through to get to the camp. You receive 248 experience.
Type search corpse.
You begin searching the corpse of a grayscale dimp. On ground contains nothing.
I'll sacrifice the corpse.
The Pantheon of God.
The other thing that I can talk about real quick in regards to Mush Z is changing the volume level. If you hit F10,
You have typed in F10, but F10 is not a valid command word. Please try. You have typed in.
not sure why the F keys won't work.
You may also ask questions by typing. Please try. You have typed in F. Please try help newbie info, or type help for a list of available commands.
Help newbie info.
You may also ask questions by typing newbie less your question here greater.
Yeah, so that gets us into channels. Basically, there are a bunch of public channels and private channels. You type the name of the channel, like chat, which is a general chat channel, so like chat, a space, and then your message. If you type channel names on their own, that will turn the channel on and off. So if I type in chat,
Turning off channel chat.
that's off. If I do it again,
Turning on channel chat.
if I type in gossip,
Turning on channel gossip.
that's on. ZT is the channel used for Mush Z. So if I type that in,
Turning off channel ZT. Turning on channel ZT.
so I have some of these channels on, which means that if people post messages to them, I will be told, and I can read the message, and I could chat if I so wanted to. Since we're talking about channels, you can type, like, let's see. So if I just want to have my character say something, I can type in SAY, a space, and then test.
You say test. Note there does not appear to be anyone here who can hear you.
Right, so that command will transmit to all players in the same room. You can type in yell and your message, which will broadcast your message through the entire area so that players may be able to hear it.
You yell. Test.
And as you can tell, there's some sounds that go with that. If you type in tell and then the player name, so if I do tell, SLANNON, testing,
You try to tell yourself something.
but it doesn't really work. You can't talk to yourself like that. Basically, those are private messages. You would type in tell, a space, the player name, and then your message, and as long as that player was online, you could private message back and forth with that player. There's a whole bunch of other things that you can do, which I'm not going to get into because that would just take a very, very long time. But this should give you an idea of how the chat works. So let's go ahead and go south here.
A small can. One a small grayscale.
We'll do inflict,
You do not know of any
CINFL.
wounds and scratches suddenly appear in a grayscale dimp. Your blood freezes. You receive one. A grayscale dimp is dead. Your blood freezes. A small camp. Northeast. Blank. One a small gray imp looks around sleepily.
Inflict imp.
Wounds and scratches suddenly appear. Sorry. Imp.
There we go, and I'll just sacrifice the corpses.
You need to take well-made leather gloves from it before you can sacrifice the corpse of a grayscale dimp.
Oh, so take all corpse.
These are incredibly well-made gloves. Use the wear command to use them, plus 493 XP. Type wear gloves to start using well-made leather gloves. You get well-made leather gloves from the corpse of a grayscale dimp.
So we'll sacrifice these corpses.
Pantheon of God. The Pantheon. You do.
I'll do that twice, and I'll type wear gloves.
A few scratches.
There we go.
Full.
Armor, 22.
Let's go east.
At the edge of a cliff face.
See, inflict.
You do not know that. Space.
Alright, so that means I've completed a quest. If I hit Alt 1.
124x.
Oh, let me go back to all.
All. 124x. 120.
Wait.
Claim an eagle door. Use the get all a carrying pouch. On ground, you receive one to their leader. Intended. As you look, a grayscaled imp is dead. As you look down into the encampment, you realize that these imps intended to ambush the people below. You should go down and talk to their leader to warn them. You receive 124.
Alright, so we'll do that. Take all corpse.
You get a carrying pouch from the corpse of a grayscaled imp.
Now, this is a container, which containers are helpful because you can't carry everything just on you. You have to put things into a bag.
The Pantheon.
So we'll get rid of that corpse. We'll go down.
You are near the refugee encampment. A small covered hut. 6 Whelan the Ancient bids you talk to him. East.
Alright, now, here we are in a new location. So I'll type talk man.
You try to talk to Whelan. Whelan says, "Thank you for warning us about the ambush. We would have been overrun if you hadn't stopped them. We will send reinforcements to the ravine and a rescue party for our missing soldier. I hope we can get there in time." The ambush was probably sent from the camp in the fields to the east. The leader of the camp, a Carver shaman, has been summoning imps to attack us ever since our town was destroyed. We have been unable to send for help. If you could assist us in defeating the shaman, we would be very grateful. You can find the shaman by going east across the bridge and into the fields. The camp is blocking our only path to safety. Our healer managed to scrape together a waypoint just outside of my hut. Don't forget to pray here so you can recall back to the camp. Whelan whispers to you. Use the quests command to see what quests you are currently on.
And yes, if you type in quests.
You have discovered or been given the following quests. Quest 1, find and defeat the Carver shaman in the nearby fields. Active. You can see more information with the quest info command. You may be able to start a new quest by using the talk command to talk to one of the people here.
If you type quest info 1.
Information for quest 1. Whelan says, "Thank you for warning us about the ambush."
And that just prints the message that we heard before. So if I go east.
A heavily warded waypoint. 0 a small candle with a bright blue flame sits here. 0 a small candle with a bright blue flame sits here. Northeast, southwest.
This is a waypoint. You'll hear a humming noise when you explore here. So if I type look or just L, that tells you that you are inside of a room that is a waypoint. So if I type pray, P-R-A-Y.
You may now recall here. When you recall, you will now return to the refugee camp. You can recall by typing recall or / As you find waypoints, you can add them to your waypoint list with waypoint set or pray here. You can travel between waypoints you have on your list. See waypoint help for more information.
Waypoints are a quick way to travel between different locations, which will become more and more helpful the more you explore. So just keep that in mind as well. At this point, though, I think this is a good place to stop. And in part 2, I will take a look at a couple of these quests. So the first quest is to find an imp shaman in the field off to the east of here. The next one is, I believe, you have to go to a graveyard and kill a vampire. So I'll do those in part 2, and we'll call this complete. Now, obviously, there might be some more things that I do. It just depends on what people want me to do. But as a baseline, I think this 2-part demonstration will serve as a nice introduction. So, this has been part 1.
Audacity.
Join me again for part 2.